What's up, guys? Masta Styles here, back with another tier list video. It's been a while since I did a tier list video, and I figured it's long overdue. So today we're gonna be talking about the top 10 heroes in the game. One thing I want to note is I want you to let me know down in the comments, should I separate the tier list when it comes to PvP and PvE? But this is the tier list from January, and we're gonna start off with Arcadia at number 10. Number 9 is Jana. Number 8 is Claire. Number 7 is Ray. Number 6 is Cariolis. Number 5 is Nord. Number 4 is Sith. Number 3 is Daniel, and number 2 is Dom, and the number 1 hero in the game is Purin. So again, when it comes to this tier list, let me explain a little bit about how I go about the list. It's more on use cases, game changing, and how does this hero help to progress your account, whether it be in PvP or PvE, right? But going forward, depending on the comments, I'll separate the list and do a PvP version and a PvE version. That'll be 2 videos per month. I generally do these once a month, and I tend to see the question where people are asking, who should you focus on? These heroes in the top 10 here are some of the heroes you want to get on your account. If their banners are up, pick them up. So let's clear off the list and we'll go over each hero, what they bring to the table, and why they are where they are on the list. So give me a second here. Let me clear this up. All right, so now that we got everyone out the way, let's get the video going. So coming in at number 10 is Jana. Jana's at number 10 because of, one, her survivability. Yes, her damage is definitely insane when it comes to AoE. She's number 1 at that. But again, her survivability is her main issue. Again, if her banner is up, or you can actually get her from the store, the competitive store, so you don't really have to worry so much about her banner being live. And you can also pull her from Astro Mirror. That's another place you can pick her up. And when it comes to her AoE DPS, she doesn't really have any competition, and she's primarily back here because, you know, Take got added to the game. You also have Cariolis, and you have a lot of options for SSS energy heroes. So definitely have her back here. She's almost off the list depending on the next energy hero, which is probably going to have more of a AoE DPS built into their kit. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But again, Jana is still at the top of the list in terms of AoE damage. This is why she's still on the list. Once she gets overtaken by that, she's probably not going to be in the top 10 anymore, right? So, and one thing we're noting is that I try to get at least one person each class on this tier list. This is what makes it so much difficult, because again, a lot of these heroes wouldn't even make the top 10 if you didn't have that in place, right? So coming in at number 9 is Claire. Claire is amazing. Like, at Immortal, Claire can sometimes, depending on the Vanguard situation, could out DPS Ares. And if you ever see Claire's banner, you definitely want to pick her up. But she's back here because, again, she is niche based in terms of use cases, because if it's not Vanguard content or, you know, PvP, you're generally not going to use her on your team. Maybe in story mode or exotic expedition for the Vanguard boss, and again, that's Vanguard content. So generally, when it comes to Vanguard, you tend to just use them for Vanguard content. Yes, she could be a frontliner for early game, but at the same time, she jumps into the backline. So again, she wouldn't be an ideal frontliner, but she does a lot of damage as a Vanguard, and she's definitely at the top in terms of Vanguard. Other Vanguard that would be better than Claire is Ares, depending on the situation, and obviously Leo, now that he's awakened, and the new SP hero. I don't really know much about that SP hero because I haven't really got my hands on a copy, right? So that's Claire in a nutshell. See her banner, pick her up. Don't pass up on Claire. Coming in at number 8 is Garriolis. Garriolis is at number 8 because, again, his passive at the beginning of the battle where he interrupts Teresh's throw or Vanguard's rushing in to the circle that he has, and also it gives damage reduction, and it also gives some damage at the end of it expiring. And I definitely see a lot of people running him on the tank team, which increases his value because Teresh's throws are so obnoxious that if you don't have Kara there, they're going to be in your backline, and tanks are still meta in PvP, especially at arena or situations where you're only using one team and it's generally arena. But Garriolis, his damage have tapered off. This is why he's back here. And you know, Take got added to the game. Take brings his own thing to the table, but that ability to interrupt charge moves is worth noting, and that's why he's definitely added to the list. If you ever see his banner comes up, pick him up. Don't pass on Garriolis. Then moving all the way down here, and I'll explain why. It's Sith. Sith is coming in at number 7. Her value definitely dropped because, again, most people now is at the point where they have either Awaken 6 or 7, or maybe at least, depending on your account, you should at least have an Awaken 5 Daniel by now. And I find myself using Daniel more than I would use Sith, because again, it's the DPS that Daniel puts out. But Sith, again, if you ever see her banner, get a copy of her. She's definitely one of the summoners that you need on your summoner team. And you can also get her in Astral Mirror. I think I've seen her face in there, but we'll take a look at that in a second to confirm that. But I think she's in there. If I'm wrong, pick her up if her banner comes live, because the summoner team is definitely going to help you, especially for newer players, to advance your account. So Sith, definitely, the damage isn't as great as it was when she first came out. She used to be a DPS monster, but now it's not. I don't think it's power crept. It's like the damage is tapered off. She's at a point now where she's not really performing as much as she used to. That's kind of why she's back here, you know. And definitely, I do like her, don't get me wrong, but she tends to die depending on the situation, especially if they're going against Assassin. She's normally the first summoner to go down, depending on the level of her or Dorelli. But again, Sith is an awesome character. Her DPS dropping pushed her all the way back here. Her DPS was higher than Dan, or at least competing with Dan at Awaken 7, 8. We don't even want to talk about 8 because it's not even close. But again, Sith, awesome hero. Love to see more access to Sith, but I would like to see her banner come back around so I can eventually get her to Immortal 5. But you know, Sith, if you see her banner, get you a copy if you don't have her. And actually, coming in number 6, a newcomer, right? Newcomer to the tier list. I know, Rebecca. Now, before this, for the hunters, I had Arcadia, but I've been using Rebecca, and I knew that her damage was great, of course, but with the new exotic mode coming out, her value just shot up. Because for me, I never really used her because, again, it's not that I'm not a fan, it's just that I never really had the opportunity to use her, because in situations where, for instance, endless battles where you need points, Dominic is the first person that comes to your mind. You're gonna put Pure in there. She's not one of those people that I'm like, okay, I need Rebecca on the team, right? I need to put her on the team. I don't even think of her, right? So, but I was definitely using her a lot more in the exotic expedition, and her value went up with the new hunter hero that was added to the game. Because if at EX30, she gives all of the hunters 250 energy. at the beginning of the battle. So for that alone too, it's not just PvE or limited to PvP. It's actually both. So for that alone, I definitely like her for that. And of course, her damage is nothing to joke about. She definitely is at the top of the list when it comes to single target DPS. So definitely, if you see Rebecca, get you a copy. She's one of those heroes that I had at Legendary 4 for a long time because her banner didn't come around, and she really show up. So if you ever see her banner, find a way to get you a copy of Rebecca. And even at low level, she still does a lot of damage. So definitely having Rebecca at number 6 is definitely worth it. So now we're gonna go into the top 5. You know how the top 5 is game changers. This is what I'm thinking. Game changing heroes, right? So coming in at number 5, we're gonna start with Northion. Northion, again, is one of those heroes that his banner has only been available twice, and the game's almost deep into the second year of it existing. And Nord, if you ever see Nord's banner, there's no discussion, right? Get you a copy. And they always sell him for $100. Sometimes he's coupled into $200. But one thing worth noting is that right now in the game, sometimes they event Defender's Oath. There's a lot of confusion going on where I'm seeing people voting for all these other heroes, right? Zeres, Claire, and I'm like, wait, what? Why are you voting for those heroes? Like, a lot of those heroes that are on that list, you can acquire them either through the shop or they're in Astral Mirror, right? Or they'll be eventually be in the Divine Blessing wish list. So for me, I'm like, Nord is there. You if you've been playing this game long enough, you know that definitely locked behind a paywall. So this is why I still have Nord on the list, because for what he brings, survivability. Even at low levels, he still have that built in his kit where, you know, when he does his ultimate, he fully gain his HP back. He is invincible when he's doing his ultimate. A lot of things. I love Nord. But again, I'm still not putting no genes into Nord. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I'm gonna wait until they come out with their banner for Nord for me to bring him to Immortal. But if you ever get the chance to pick up Nord, go for it. I don't know what you got to do. This is an opportunity for everyone to get a free copy of Nord. I don't know if people are trolling, but it should be Nord that you're voting for. Throw those roses at that man and get you a copy. So next, we're going to go into the top 4. We're making it all the way down here is Ray, right? And you're probably like, wait, why do you have Ray? I have Ray number 4 because of what she brings to the table. Frontliner, healing, start out with the Guardian state. If she's with an Evangelion, she stays in the Guardian state until the other Evangelion is dead. Definitely is one of those tanks that are going to be alive towards the end of the battle. The other tanks may get wiped out, and she also have cheat debt in her kit. Right, awesome. Definitely, I run Ray over Nord because, again, my Nord is only legendary 2. But with the addition of Take, Nord's value went back up. But for me, my energy team, I use Ray with Shinji. So they go in tandem. It's a great frontliner, and because of the healing that she brings to the table. And when the Evangelion event come back around, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get you a copy of Ray, you want to make sure you pick this hero up, right? So I don't know whenever that collab event's going to come out. Tend to bring out collab events whenever they go on vacation. So don't know if Ray's ever going to come back to the game, but I definitely like Ray and the value that she brings as a frontliner, and she'll definitely help you for newer players. Well, I can't say for newer players because you won't be able to gain access to her. But if you already have Ray on your account, you're like, should you level up Ray? Yes, definitely a great frontliner. Will help you in story mode, Twilight Lands, any situation where you need somebody to be up front taking damage, and the fact that she heals, that's incredible. I wish the heal was a little bit better, but you know, you got to take what you can get. So again, definitely huge fan of Ray, and this is why I have Ray in the top. Oh, all right. So now we're gonna go into the top 3 heroes in the game, and again, I think by the next tier list video that this might shake up a little bit around this top 3. So coming in at number 3, we have Daniel. Again, awaken Daniel, at least 5 plus, awaken 5 plus, right? 7, great. 8, amazing. I don't have a 9, 10, you know, great. Makes the summoner team amazing. You can use him in multiple situations. He's not attached to the summoner team, which is what I like. I love to see that. And that's one of the things I forgot to mention about these top 5 heroes, is that they're not attached to their class. Like, they can be used outside of their class, and that's where they are reevaluated. Ray's the same way, Nord is the same way. And when it comes to Daniel, his DPS is up there, and I find myself using him in many use cases. I use him a lot. PvP, he's definitely going to be used on the summoner team, because that's where you'll get the most value. Don't really see him on too many other teams. It wouldn't really make any sense. But in PvE, definitely, if you need some DPS, you can definitely slot in Dan. So again, this is why I have him here. Before he was Awakened, he wouldn't even be on the top 10 list. But the Awakened Dan is definitely the number 3 hero in the game. I know you're probably wondering, where's Masrani? Masrani at Awakened 7 is great, because, you know, for PvP, it brings that 6 team member. If it was for PvE, number 1, hands down, it would be number 1. But again, to put Masrani on here while also having all these other heroes, it's tough. You know, I had to pick and choose between, you know, the number 1 or number 2. But Masrani is worth noting, but you have to get Masrani all the way to Awaken 7, which is not feasible for a lot of people. But again, that's worth noting. So now we're gonna move on to the top 2 heroes in the game. Number 2 is Dominic. Dominic is still great, even with all the new assassins that came out. Probably gonna have a new assassin soon. Is that new assassin going to surpass Dominic? Probably not, because of his mark. And imagine this, right? An awakened Dominic. That's going to be crazy, but that's a ways away from now. But let's just talk about Dominic as he is now. Amazing damage dealing events. Anything that requires, especially in PvE, that requires you to put out points, Dominic is on that team. Unless it's a situation where, you know, it's a Vanguard situation, then you're not using Dominic. That's primarily it. All the other ones, you're definitely using Dominic. So for that alone, his value, his damage, and him not even being able to be power crept because of his mark, he's one of the key pieces for damage dealing, especially, like I said, endless battles. Whatever situation you want to put him in, he's going to excel in terms of damage. So definitely one of the better characters when it comes to dishing out damage, because again, his mark is just the main reason why he does so much damage. So again, if Dominic is available, get you a copy. You could get him through the competitive store, so that's an easy way to get it. Just make it to the group stages in Ascension Arena, and then you should be able to get a selector there, get your copy there. So do not throw your roses at Dominic, please. Get Nord, the better value for a free hero. I like Dominic, he's the number 2 hero in the game, but again, I would take Nord in that situation. So moving on to the number 1 hero in the game, still number 1, even with the awakening of Masrani. Like I mentioned, if that was for PvE, then Masrani would definitely be number one, right? The way that I think about the Awakening is I look at my free-to-play account, because if my free-to-play account can acquire a certain level of Awakening, that tells me that people should be at that point by now. So coming in at number one, you already know who it is. Her banner's live right now. Her banner's live right now. We don't know when it's ever gonna come back. So if you haven't got her, find your way to get you some tickets and get you a copy of Purin Asaki. But what can I say? She can be used on any and every team. Any team she goes on, she makes it better. She nullifies the strongest attacker. She increases your damage. She reduces your damage. She can stun. Only thing she cannot do is do damage herself. That is the only thing that Purin cannot do, right? So again, number one hero in the game, Purin Asaki. I'm just thinking of like, what could I say that you don't already know about Purin? And I'll just tell you a quick story. When her kit was released, she was the one hero that I was like, you know what? I need this hero. Because just if you go back and read her skills, like she's literally broken. Like if there was ever an SP level support, that would be Purin. Like if Purin was ever in the game and she was released, she would be a SP level support because of all the things that she brings to the game. And how could I forget? How could I forget? She passively heals. She also, at EX30, regenerates stamina faster every second. Like, Purin is just an amazing character. And again, whoever the next hero is going to be, I want the next hero to be a game changer. Like, instantly coming in and making it into the top 10. That's what I would want for the next hero. Also being able to work outside of their class, because a lot of the heroes are very connected to their class. They don't work well outside of their class. And Purin, definitely she works with every team. You know, there's no team where I'm like, okay, she's not gonna make them better. Yeah. So if you can think of a team, please comment down below that wouldn't benefit from having Purin. So again, her banner is live. Depending on when you're watching this, you may not see her banner again, but if it's in February, definitely go get you a copy of her. So that's pretty much the tier list in a nutshell, and let's just go back over it and then we'll get on out of here. So coming in at number 10, we have Jana. Number 9, we have Claire. Number 8, Cariolis. Number 7, Sith. Number 6 is Rebecca. Number 5 is Nord. 4 is Ray. 3 is Daniel. And number 2 is Dominic. And the number 1 hero in the game is Purin Asaki. So all of these heroes here, if you have them, you're on the fence about building them out, definitely get them to Immortal. You'll see the progression in your account in utilizing each and every one of these heroes. So again, that is tier list in a nutshell. Like I said, comment down below if you want me to separate it from PvP and PvE. And we'll do 2 videos a month with the tier list. And I always say, if you want me to do class base where, you know, I break down each class, who's worth investing in when it comes to each class, let me know down in the comments. So if you're new to my content and you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'll really appreciate it. And for those that's rocking with me, hit the like button. It'll help out with the algorithm. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you can see my future uploads. So without further ado, I want to thank you for watching. Till the next video, peace.